In a world that can't stop talking, she is the silence that commands attention. She doesn't lead the pack, and she certainly doesn't follow it. She is the modern spicy lady. Forget the old tropes of needing to be the loudest in the room, to be alpha. The modern spicy lady is the new generation's ultimate power move. She's the lone wolf with a polished edge, independent, emotionally intelligent, and unapologetically ambitious. But what truly sets her apart? It's not just her vibe, it's her habits. Today, we're decoding the 12 signature habits of a high-value modern spicy lady. Welcome to the elite tier of self-mastery. Before we dive in, let's clarify the concept. A modern spicy lady is the introverted alpha of the new generation. She has the competence of a leader, but no desire for the spotlight. Unlike the traditional social climber, she values her own peace over peer validation. She is tech-savvy, financially conscious, and treats her time like a currency. Sign 1. The mastery of the silent exit is perhaps the most defining trait of the high-value modern spicy lady, serving as a masterclass in emotional intelligence and self-preservation. In a digital age where every move is often broadcasted for validation, the spicy lady chooses the power of invisibility. This habit isn't merely about leaving a physical room. It is a profound psychological boundary. When she identifies that a social setting, a friendship, or even a professional environment has become stagnant or toxic, she doesn't engage in the performative drama of a grand finale. She understands that explaining herself to those who do not value her is a waste of her most precious currency, energy. By fading out without a formal announcement, she retains her mystery and prevents others from drawing her back into a cycle of conflict or justification. In practical social terms, the silent exit, often called the Irish goodbye, allows her to maintain her autonomy. She doesn't seek permission to leave, nor does she wait for the right moment to say goodbye to everyone. She simply vanishes when her social battery is drained or when the conversation no longer holds substance. This habit extends deeply into her personal relationships. If she realizes a partner or a friend is detrimental to her growth, she doesn't always provide a detailed post-mortem. Instead, she slowly withdraws her energy, reduces her accessibility, and eventually becomes a ghost in their narrative. This isn't out of cowardice, but out of a realization that true closure comes from within, not from a heated argument. For the modern spicy lady, silence is her shield and her statement. She moves like a shadow, impossible to pin down, and even harder to manipulate. By avoiding the drama of a public fallout, she keeps her reputation pristine and her mental space uncluttered. She is the architect of her own peace, knowing that the most powerful way to win a losing game is to simply stop playing and walk away without looking back. The second signature habit of a high-value modern spicy lady is her commitment to a low-profile, high-impact lifestyle. In an era dominated by clout chasing and the digital urge to perform one's life for an audience, the spicy lady finds her power in the shadows. She understands that privacy is the ultimate luxury, and that once a detail is shared, it is no longer hers to control. Consequently, she maintains an air of mystery that isn't forced, but is a byproduct of her internal focus. She might be achieving monumental milestones, closing a business deal, mastering a complex new skill, or curated a stunning personal environment, but she feels zero compulsion to post a play-by-play on social media. This habit creates a fascinating paradox because she shares so little, the impact of what she does choose to reveal is magnified tenfold. When she speaks or shares, people listen because her currency hasn't been devalued by overexposure. This digital and social discipline protects her from the envy and evil eye of others, allowing her to build her empire in total peace. She doesn't need a lifestyle blogger aesthetic to feel successful. Her validation is purely internal. While others are busy editing the perfect photo to prove they were at an event, the modern spicy lady is actually living the experience, absorbing the knowledge, and networking with intent. She treats her life like a high-end private club, hard to get into and even harder to see inside. By keeping her wins quiet and her struggles private, she remains unpredictable and unshakable. To the outside world, she appears to move effortlessly from one success to the next, precisely because they didn't see the silent, grueling work that happened behind the scenes. She is the ghost in the machine, highly effective, remarkably influential, yet nearly impossible to track. The third signature habit of a high-value modern spicy lady is her profound sense of emotional autonomy, a trait that serves as the bedrock of her psychological resilience. In a society that often conditions women to be people pleasers or to seek external validation for their self-worth, the spicy lady breaks the mold by becoming her own emotional anchor. Emotional autonomy means her internal state is not a reflection of her environment or the opinions of others. It is a self-governed territory. She does not look for a partner, a friend, or a social media following to complete her or provide a sense of purpose. Instead, she enters every interaction as a whole entity, which fundamentally changes the power dynamics of her relationships. She is immune to the love bombing or emotional manipulation that often ensnares those who are desperate for affection because her cup is already full. When she faces criticism or social rejection, she processes it through a lens of cold logic rather than heated emotion. If the critique is valid, she integrates it for growth. If it is baseless, she discards it without a second thought. This habit is particularly vital for the modern generation, where digital notifications and likes act as dopamine hits that control the moods of the masses. The modern spicy lady has deconditioned herself from this cycle. She can go days without digital validation and still feel immensely powerful. This autonomy also allows her to be a calm in the storm for others, though she rarely takes on the role of an unpaid therapist. She understands that she is responsible for her own triggers and expects others to do the same. By refusing to outsource her happiness, she ensures that no one, no matter how close they are, holds the keys to her peace of mind. She is the ultimate master of her own vibe. The fourth signature habit of a high-value modern spicy lady is her commitment to a curated inner circle, a practice that prioritizes extreme quality over social quantity. While the world celebrates squad goals and large performative friend groups, the spicy lady views her inner circle as a sacred council that directly influences her frequency and future. She does not have friends in the casual, loosely defined sense. She has alliances. Every person allowed into her private sphere must pass a rigorous, unspoken vetting process centered on character, ambition, and loyalty. She understands the law of averages, that she is the reflection of the people she spends the most time with, and she refuses to dilute her potential by associating with those who dwell in gossip, negativity, or mediocrity. This curation is not about elitism or arrogance. It is about energetic hygiene. She would rather spend months in total solitude than 1 hour with someone who drains her or lacks integrity. Because she is comfortable in her own company, she never settles for placeholder friends to avoid loneliness. In her world, a true peer is someone who challenges her intellectually and respects her need for space without taking it personally. This small, elite group acts as a silent powerhouse where information is exchanged, growth is catalyzed, and trust is absolute. By keeping her circle tiny, she eliminates the risk of betrayal and social drama that plagues larger groups. When she does show up for her people, she is intensely loyal and present, offering a level of depth that is rare in the modern age. Her circle is a fortress, not a revolving door, ensuring that her most vulnerable thoughts and strategic plans remain protected within a vault of mutual respect and high-level alignment. Let's take a second. If you're still here, it's because you value quality over noise, a true spicy lady trait. If this high-value mindset is speaking to you, tap the like button. It helps the algorithm find more women like us. And if you've already started pruning your inner circle, comment leveling up below. It's a silent signal to others in the tribe. The fifth signature habit of a high-value modern spicy lady is her use of strategic mystery, a deliberate choice to remain an enigma in a world that demands constant transparency. While most people feel an obsessive need to be understood, or to narrate their life stories to anyone who will listen, the spicy lady understands that information is power, and once it is given away, it cannot be reclaimed. Her mystery is not a theatrical act or a playing hard to get game. It is a byproduct of her self-sufficiency and her refusal to seek external validation in professional settings. She shares only the results, never the process, leaving colleagues and competitors wondering how she achieves her goals with such perceived ease. She operates on a need-to-know basis, keeping her next move, her financial status, and her personal vulnerabilities behind a sophisticated veil of professional courtesy. This lack of oversharing makes her presence magnetic because she doesn't fill every silence with mindless chatter or personal anecdotes. When she finally does speak, her words carry immense weight and authority. People are naturally drawn to the unspoken and the unseen, and the spicy lady leverages this psychological curiosity to maintain a position of strength. In the digital realm, she is a ghost. Her profiles are curated, but tell you nothing about her current emotional state or her future plans. This strategic silence acts as a natural filter, as only the most persistent and high-value individuals will take the time to truly earn her trust. By remaining a puzzle that is never quite solved, she ensures that she is never pigeonholed or underestimated. She knows that being predictable is the first step toward being controlled, so she chooses to remain the one variable in the equation that no one can quite solve. The sixth signature habit of a high-value modern spicy lady is her relentless intellectual curiosity, a trait that transforms her mind into her most formidable asset. In a world obsessed with fleeting trends and surface-level entertainment, she chooses to dive into the depths of knowledge, understanding that true power in the modern era is synonymous with information. Her curiosity is not scattered or aimless. It is highly disciplined and strategic. Whether she is teaching herself the intricacies of blockchain technology, studying the psychological underpinnings of human behavior, or mastering a new language, she does so with a quiet intensity that requires no outside applause. She views every conversation, book, and even her failures as data points to be analyzed and integrated into her worldview. This intellectual depth allows her to navigate diverse social and professional landscapes with an adaptable grace, as she can contribute meaningful insights to almost any topic without relying on cliches. For the modern spicy lady, learning is not a chore or a means to an end. It is a lifestyle. She is often a polymath in the making, connecting dots across different industries that others fail to see. This habit provides her with a unique form of security. While markets may crash and social hierarchies may shift, her ability to think critically and learn rapidly remains an unshakable foundation. She spends her alone time not in mindless consumption, but in active mental expansion, curating a library of skills that make her indispensable. She is never bored because the world is a complex puzzle she is constantly solving. By prioritizing wisdom over mere opinion, she ensures that her voice, though rarely used, is always the most informed in the room. This intellectual edge is what truly separates her from the crowd, making her not just a participant in the new generation, but a silent architect of its future. The seventh signature habit of a high-value modern spicy lady is her commitment to radical self-reliance, a principle that serves as her ultimate declaration of independence. In an era where convenience and outsourcing are the norms, the spicy lady cultivates a diverse toolkit of skills that allow her to navigate the world without being tethered to anyone else's assistance. This goes far beyond mere financial independence. It is a holistic approach to life that encompasses technical, emotional, and logistical sovereignty. Whether it is troubleshooting a complex software issue, managing her own investment portfolio, or handling a mechanical emergency on a solo road trip, she takes pride in her ability to solve her own problems. She views every dependency as a potential vulnerability, so she systematically eliminates them by becoming her own first responder. This habit is rooted in a deep respect for her own agency. She doesn't wait for a hero to save her or a partner to provide for her because she has already built her own safety net. For the young generation of spicy ladies, this often manifests as high digital literacy and financial savvy, knowing exactly how to build a brand, repair a device, or navigate legal contracts without external handholding. This self-reliance creates a profound sense of inner peace, as her confidence is not based on who she knows, but on what she can do. It allows her to move through life with a calm, unshakable, can-do attitude that others find both intimidating and admirable. She is never stranded, never helpless, and never trapped in a bad situation simply because she lacks the means to exit. By mastering the art of taking care of herself, she ensures that any partnership she enters is a choice, not a necessity, allowing her to maintain her high-value status in every aspect of her existence. The eighth signature habit of a high-value modern spicy lady is being fundamentally unbothered by social hierarchy, a trait that grants her a rare form of social freedom. In a world obsessed with titles, blue checks, and the constant ladder climbing of the social elite, the spicy lady remains a neutral observer. She views human value through the lens of character and competence, rather than status or net worth. This psychological detachment allows her to navigate any room, from a high-stakes corporate boardroom to a local cafe, with the same level of composed grace. She treats a CEO and a service worker with identical respect, not because she is trying to be moral, but because she genuinely does not recognize the validity of artificial social tiers. To her, a title is just a label, and she refuses to be intimidated by power or impressed by wealth alone. This habit makes her incredibly dangerous to those who rely on their status to control others, since she doesn't crave their approval or fear their disapproval. Their traditional leverage over her is non-existent. For the young generation of spicy ladies, this manifests as a refusal to participate in clique culture or the toxic mean girl dynamics of social media. She doesn't feel the need to name drop or align herself with important people to feel significant. Her confidence is internal, so she never feels below anyone, nor does she feel the need to act above anyone. This lack of bias allows her to see people for who they truly are, giving her an edge in networking and negotiations. She builds bridges based on shared values and intellectual alignment, ignoring the superficial barriers that stop others. By existing outside the hierarchy, she becomes a sovereign entity, moving through the world with a quiet authority that status seekers can never truly replicate. Modern spicy ladies don't wait for permission. They take action. Are you a woman who relies on her own strength, or are you still breaking free from social expectations? Share this video with one woman you know who is building her own empire in silence. Let's strengthen the network of independent minds. The ninth signature habit of a high-value modern spicy lady is conscious consumption, a disciplined approach to how she engages with the physical and digital world. In an era defined by hyperconsumerism, fast fashion hauls, and the constant urge to buy the next big thing, the spicy lady stands as a guardian of her own space and energy. She understands that every item she owns and every piece of content she consumes carries a weight that either elevates her or creates clutter. Her wardrobe is a testament to this. She ignores the core trends that disappear in weeks, opting instead for a timeless, high-quality uniform that exudes quiet luxury and personal brand consistency. She would rather own one perfectly tailored blazer than 10 cheap, trendy alternatives. This habit extends far beyond material goods into the realm of information. She is ruthlessly selective about her digital diet, refusing to feed her brain with brain rot content, celebrity gossip, or outrage-driven news cycles. She treats her attention like a finite, precious resource, spending it only on books, podcasts, and documentaries that contribute to her long-term growth or mental clarity. This conscious choice makes her immune to the marketing tactics designed to make people feel less than if they don't buy a certain product. For the younger generation of spicy ladies, this also includes an environmental and ethical awareness. She supports brands that align with her values and rejects those that are exploitative. By choosing classy over flashy and quality over quantity, she creates an environment of intentionality. This discipline allows her to save capital for meaningful investments, rather than wasting it on depreciating assets. Her consumption is a deliberate act of self-respect, ensuring that she remains the master of her desires, rather than a slave to the algorithm. The 10th signature habit of a high-value modern spicy lady is her absolute mastery of the power of no, a skill that serves as the ultimate guardian of her time, energy, and self-respect. In a culture that often pressures women to be agreeable, nurturing, and perpetually available, the spicy lady views her yes as a rare commodity and her no as a necessary boundary. She does not offer no with the side of guilt or a lengthy paragraph of excuses. She understands that no is a complete sentence. Whether it is declining a social invitation that doesn't interest her, refusing a professional task that falls outside her scope of growth, or rejecting a romantic advance that doesn't meet her standards, she speaks her truth with a calm, firm elegance. This habit is not about being difficult or contrarian. It is about radical prioritization. By saying no to the mediocre, the distracting, and the toxic, she is effectively saying yes to her own goals and mental health. For the younger generation of spicy ladies, this power is especially vital in the digital space. It means saying no to the pressure of responding to every DM, no to participating in every viral trend, and no to the hustle culture that demands burnout. This boundary setting creates a natural filter in her life. People who do not respect her boundaries are quickly eliminated, while those who remain are forced to respect her time. Her no is a signal of high value, as it proves she cannot be easily swayed or manipulated by social pressure. By mastering this habit, she retains full control over her life's trajectory, ensuring that her energy is never leaked into ventures or relationships that do not align with her highest self. The 11th signature habit of a high-value modern spicy lady is her unwavering digital discipline, a skill that is perhaps the most critical for the new generation spicy lady. While the average person is a slave to the algorithm, constantly reacting to notifications, chasing viral trends, and seeking dopamine hits from social validation, the modern spicy lady uses technology as a sharp tool, never as a master. She understands that her attention is the most valuable asset she possesses, and she refuses to let tech conglomerates monetize it for brain rot content. Her digital presence is a byproduct of her intention, not a reflex of her boredom. She practices minimalist connectivity, meaning she might have several digital platforms, but spends minimal time on them, often appearing and disappearing like a ghost. She is rarely a consumer and almost always an observer or a creator. This habit manifests in her strict boundaries. She likely has specific hours for checking emails, uses do not disturb modes religiously to protect her deep work sessions, and has curated her feeds to reflect her intellectual curiosity rather than her insecurities. She does not participate in digital clout chasing or public call-out culture. She knows that engaging in online drama is a low-value activity that drains her frequency. Instead, she uses her digital literacy to build empires, learning high-income skills, managing investments, or growing her YouTube channels in total silence. By maintaining this distance, she avoids the comparisonitis that fuels modern anxiety. She is the person who is online for a purpose, and once the task is finished, she returns to the real world. This discipline allows her to maintain her strategic mystery, even in a hyper-connected age, ensuring that while the world is busy looking at screens, she is busy mastering reality. Saying no is the ultimate power move. If you've mastered the art of the elegant boundary, you're already in the top 1%. If you want more deep dives into the spicy lady psychology, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. Don't miss the next evolution of this series. The 12th signature habit of a high-value modern spicy lady is her commitment to obsessive self-care, but not in the superficial way the term is often marketed. For her, self-care isn't just about luxury face masks or aesthetic bubble baths. It is a rigorous internal maintenance of her mental, emotional, and physical hardware. She treats her mind and body as the high-performance instruments they are, understanding that if she burns out, her entire empire collapses. This habit is obsessive because she is uncompromising about her routines. She views sleep, nutrition, and mental health as non-negotiable foundations of her power. She is likely a practitioner of shadow work, diving into her own psyche to understand her triggers and traumas so that she can act with total self-awareness rather than reacting to external stimuli. Her self-care involves radical honesty. She doesn't lie to herself about her flaws, but she also doesn't allow her inner critic to sabotage her growth. In the physical realm, she views exercise as a form of discipline and mental clarity, rather than a quest for a certain body type. This internal focus makes her unshakable. While others are chasing glow-ups that are only skin deep, she is building a core of steel. She guards her me time with the same ferocity that a CEO guards a multi-million-dollar merger. If she needs a weekend of total isolation to recalibrate her nervous system, she takes it without a hint of guilt. This habit ensures she is always operating at a 100% capacity, allowing her to maintain her emotional autonomy and radical self-reliance. By obsessing over her internal well-being, she radiates a natural, authentic confidence that cannot be bought or faked. She is the ultimate project, and she is never finished leveling up. The conclusion of a high-value modern spicy lady's narrative is not merely an ending. It is a profound philosophical summation and a call to sovereign living. To understand why she isn't trying to fit into the world, one must realize that the world's current social architecture is built on the shaky foundations of consensus, loud validation, and the constant performance of identity. The spicy lady views this as a chaotic distraction. While the masses are exhausting themselves by trying to mold their personalities to fit into pre-existing social boxes or alpha hierarchies, she is elsewhere, quietly laying the bricks of her own reality. Building her own world means she defines her own success, sets her own moral compass, and creates a physical and digital environment that serves her growth, rather than her ego. She is the ultimate proof that volume does not equate to value. In a culture that often mistakes noise for influence and aggression for leadership, her composed silence is a radical act of rebellion. She doesn't need to shout to be heard because her results speak with a frequency that reaches the right people. Her power is not something she exerts over others. It is a power she possesses within herself. It is the power of certainty, the unshakable knowledge of who she is when the cameras are off and the crowd has gone home. This certainty is her greatest shield against the insecurities that drive most people toward conformity. When you are certain of your worth, you no longer need to audit the opinions of others to feel valid. As the narrative shifts toward the audience, the invitation to engage is framed through the lens of this high-value persona. When she asks, which of these habits resonated with you the most, she isn't just fishing for engagement metrics. She is inviting a moment of self-reflection. She understands that the journey toward becoming a modern spicy lady is often a lonely transition from being a people pleaser to a peace seeker. By asking if the viewers are already living the spicy lady life, she is fostering a community of like-minded, independent thinkers who value depth over surface-level interactions. The instruction to discuss elegantly is a subtle but firm reinforcement of the spicy lady standard. It sets the tone for a comment section that is free from the typical toxicity and keyboard warrior energy found elsewhere on the internet. It encourages a discourse of sophistication and mutual respect, mirroring the curated inner circle she maintains in her real life. This interaction is a bridge between her solitary world and the collective potential of her audience, proving that while she is a lone wolf, she recognizes the value of a high-frequency tribe. Her final sign-off, stay refined. Stay independent serves as both a blessing and a mandate. To stay refined is to remain disciplined in one's consumption, speech, and aesthetic. It is the constant polishing of the self. To stay independent is to guard one's autonomy with religious fervor, ensuring that no person, trend, or institution holds the power to dictate one's path. These two pillars define the modern spicy lady. She is a woman who has replaced the need for external approval with the luxury of self-respect. She leaves the frame as she entered it, calm, confident, and entirely on her own terms. The screen goes dark, but the impact of her presence lingers, challenging every viewer to stop trying to win the world's game and to start building their own. This is the legacy of the new generation spicy lady. She doesn't leave a trail to be followed. She leaves a standard to be met. By the time the video ends, the viewer isn't just left with a list of habits, but with a blueprint for a life of quiet, unshakable sovereignty.